Welcome. My name's Alex. I'm a training specialist, and today we're going to be just running a general training session about SPORTDiscus, how to search it, types of content that you will find in here. We'll talk a bit about how to save content, take citations, and then we'll have some time at the end, answer questions. And if you have any subjects or topics that you would like to search for or questions, we can do those at the end of the session. So SPORTDiscus is primarily a bibliographic database, but also has large amounts of full text journals as well. So we're going to be searching abstract and index records, and also full text articles and publications as well. This is just a general website. This is our EBSCO website, and here you'll be able to just find some basic information about this. But if you want to see, for example, a title list or detailed information about what is in the database, we can find that in EBSCOhost, and I'll show you that very quickly soon. If we head over now to EBSCOhost, obviously, if I click on this choose databases here, this is going to show you all of the databases that you have access to at the moment. Now I know 2 of these are on trial. So if you wanted to search SPORTDiscus with other databases, you can do that. So for example, I could choose Science and Technology Source and maybe CINAHL with full text. Okay. But for today, we're just going to select SPORTDiscus. Okay. Now, if you click on the little arrow here, this will give you a description about what the database is. So we can see here a mix of full text for sports and sports science, 550 journals, and then coverage back to 1930. So the first thing I like to do when showing a database is show you what the search screen looks like. And the reason for that is there are going to be specific filters, ways of searching this database that are unique. Okay, we can, of course, always just run a basic search. And again, we've got just our basic keyword search box and our search options. However, if we come to the advanced search page, we're going to get access to more options and we have more control over how our search looks. So because this is a full text database, it's really important that we understand how the search behavior works. Okay, so I'll just take you through some of these search options. So the search modes, this is the search behavior of the database. Now there's 3 main ones here, and then there's also smart text searching as well, which is very different. So we'll talk about that. But if you click on this little question mark here, this will take you just to a help menu, and it will explain what each of the search modes are. So the first one is going to be phrase searching or Boolean searching. We're ignoring stop words and we're looking for exact phrases. Whereas if we use find all my search terms, this is going to auto-populate and between our terms. So web accessibility would search for web and accessibility anywhere in the record. Whereas if we use Boolean searching and we search for web accessibility, it will look for web within 5 words of accessibility, so as a phrase. Okay. Now find any of my search terms is similar, but it will auto-populate or between our search terms. So for example, a search for web accessibility will return web or. Okay. So this is quite simple stuff. But the Then we have smart text searching, which is very different. And the reason for that is we are not searching the bibliographic information here. What we are using smart text searching for is when we have, for example, the abstract of an article. Maybe we have a quote, we have the start of a chapter, we have a piece of text which is not bibliographic information, but we want to check the database to see if that article or if that book or that quotation is available in the full text. Okay, so whereas these search modes will focus on the bibliographic records, smart text searching will let us search, the full text. So I use it sometimes to find quotes from a paper, or maybe if I know the start of a chapter, but I don't have the bibliographic information. So very different. So we need to make sure we're choosing the correct search mode. So me personally, I like Boolean searching, so I'll choose that. And then I can choose to apply any expanders. These are fairly simple. So the top one will let me look for synonyms. So for example, if I search for climate change, it will include global warming. Or if I'm looking for electric vehicle, maybe there's another phrase that's equivalent to that. There's one. Then we've got the ability to search within the full text of the articles. So if you want to do that, and remember, if you search in the full text, your number of results is going to be very, very large. So we do need to be careful with this. And the last thing is using the subject terms. So if I run a search for electric vehicle, then a related subject term might be autonomous vehicle. So that would then include that in my search. Okay, so it's using the list of subject terms and it's looking for related and equivalent subject terms, and it will include it in the search. Actually, we'll keep this equivalent subjects expander. And then as I scroll down here, I get some limiters. Okay, so one thing I always try and remember about SPORTDiscus or EBSCOhost databases is I can apply my limiters for the search, but I can always add them after if I need to. So you don't need to do it before, but you can. Full text peer review, I can look for specific book or journal names, publication. I can look for specific countries in which the journals or studies are about, document types, and then we've got some that are specific to the database, and these are going to be the subsets of the database. Okay, so here I can actually see a collection of groups or sub collections, as we call them, and you can limit to individual ones if you want to. Okay, so if you're looking at a specific area of the database. So I'm going to build a search now, and we can take a look at this. Okay, so I'll come to the top. Now, with the guided style view, what I can do is I can actually search across different fields, or I can just choose select a field optional, and that will search across all fields. So for example, something that is quite common is to do title or abstract searching. So for example, so we could do something like this, like cryotherapy or cold therapy. I might even want to use an asterisk here to look for therapeutic, therapy, therapies, so different word endings if I wanted to. Put an asterisk here as well. And then I'm using the quotation marks here to look for this as an exact phrase. Okay, so I want cold, then therapy. And I could choose just to do a title or, using the or connector, and then also look in the abstract field as well. Okay. So I can use the advanced search page to build, accurate, complex searches. So here I've got 900 results. A little tip for you about some of the full text content here. So you can see here that I've got lots of results. If they are full text results, I will see the full text here, available in whichever format. It might be PDF, it might be HTML, or it's both. Now, if I click into this, okay, I can see the metadata. Now, because this has HTML full text, I have some extra accessibility features. So, for example, audio transcription. I can listen to the article at different speeds, and it will read it to me. But I can also translate the article as well. So for example, if I wanted to translate this article into Finnish, I could do that. But just a note on this, that this is a machine translation. Okay, so it will be automatic. There might be some bad grammar, etc. So do be careful with it, but it can just be a useful feature, particularly for students or for users, to get an understanding of the article if it's in a language they don't understand. And I think there's 64 languages at the moment. So for example, if I wanted to search for S and put it into Swedish, I can also do that. But this is only for full text content that is HTML full text. We've got our search results list. Again, we can check it on the left here to see what we have searched, any expanders, and then we have our limiters here on the left. So I can change the dates, maybe look for most recent content. Okay. I can see source types and subject terms as well. So I like to look at the subject terms because they give me some information about what type of content is available here. So for example, I can see here subject terms related to maybe the academic study that these articles are discussing. So for example, randomized control trials, I could select that, and it's then going to show me only results with that subject term included. I can see it highlighted here as well. So when I find results that I think look useful, I can always come in here. I can check the metadata. And remember, everything that is blue, these are hyperlinked, which means that I can search the database using any of these, okay? So if I want to only look for content from this publication, I can click it. And it's then going to take me to this publication, this journal, and it's going to show me all of the issues here on the right, so I can browse, or I can search in the publication. And what that's going to do is then give me this little field code here, JN, which is journal name, and then I can just build a new search. So we could go for cold therapy or cryotherapy. I can run that search, and there we go. So now we've got some search results that are very focused, very manageable. So how do I save this content? Now there's a few ways you can do it, and I'll show you some of the easier ways. The first way is I can add these results to a folder. It will give me an option if I have custom folders. I'm just going to put these in my folder. Now the other thing we can do is if we come to the share button here, then I have the options to add the full page of my search results to a folder. I can add the search query to a folder. I can set up an email alert. We'll talk about that shortly. Or I can export my search results to a reference manager. So if you use EndNote or RefWorks, Zotero, any kind of bibliographic or research citation manager, you can export your full search results list And just a reminder, just to repeat myself, it's under here, under the share menu. Save the search, export the results, or I can set up an email alert. Okay, so it's all here in one place. Now, if you are using the folder, just a reminder, you do need to have a My EBSCO account. Okay, so you can see here at the moment I am signed in. This is Alex's folder. And this means that I can save search results, searches, my alerts, all together in one place. I can also set up custom folders as well. So if I want to, maybe look at, what are we doing? Cold therapy. So cold therapy research. Okay, so I can set up a new folder. And now, when I go back to my search results, and I choose to save these to a folder, I can actually put these in a specific folder for my research, okay, which is cold therapy research. So nice and easy. Of course, if I just want to save an article, one article, or get a citation for one article, it's really simple. All you have to do is click in to the article, come over here to the right side, so here, and you can save it to Google Drive. I can email it to myself. I can obviously access the full text here on the left, download the PDF, for example, or if I just need a citation, it's here on the right. Okay, so I can get basic citation, or I can export it in a data format of my choice. So that's really the basics. Now, if I want to see all of the searches that I have run, I can do that here under the search history. Now, I think this is a really great tool because I can see all of my searches from this session. Okay, I can see the number of results. And what I can do is I can actually start to combine these together. Okay, so let's say I was looking at the Olympic or World Athletics. Okay. Remember, if I ever want to edit a search, I can do that in the search history as well. So here, for example, I want to edit this search. All I have to do is come to edit, and then I can change it here in this window. World Championship. Okay. Can change any of these options, search options, limiters. Save. Okay, and then it will change that search line for me. And this is one of my favorite things is if I'm building long, complicated searches, I can use the search history, again, which is always here under the search bar, and I can combine different lines of my search, okay? So here, this is our line about the Olympics, and maybe, I want to see, what methods of cold therapy are common in competitions such as the Olympics. So I can select this line here, and I can select S4, and then I can click on search with or search with and. So if I click on search with and, what it will do, there's no results for that, that's okay. But what it will do is it will essentially use these little numbers here. I'll make this bigger for you. So it will use these numbers as search syntax. So I can start to use these in my search if I want to. So for example, if I wanted to look for just the word injury, prevention, and S4, so I'm just typing in this little ID here, the database will know that it's, well, okay, that's bad instance, but it will know that I'm searching for S4. Okay, and then I just come down here. Maybe we actually edit that to S3. So I'm going to come to edit search, and then we'll just quickly build a new search. Come to my search history, and I've got 2 lines there, and I can maybe just combine these together. And then if I want to, nest those in a search, so maybe do S1 and let me do Nike or Adidas or Under Armour or Coq Sportif or Puma. So some key brands there. I can combine that with my little S numbers here. Okay, so these are really great for, if we are doing a big search with lots and lots of lines, can use these little search IDs just to make the experience a bit easier. I don't know if that will return anything, but okay, 2 results. Okay, so one last thing about the search history here is that I can actually use my search history to, so for example, if we select maybe a few lines here from our search history, I can actually save these as an email alert. So let me just sign in quickly and I can show you what that looks like. So I'm just signing into my EBSCO here. Now, if I'm conducting some research, I don't want to come back to EBSCOhost every week. It's too much work. So what I can do is I can take my research query here, maybe include these 3 lines. Actually, we'll include everything. And then I come up here to save searches. And I'm actually going to save this as a search alert. So we'll call it injury prevention and cold therapy. And then it will show me all of the lines that I'm choosing to save. And then I select alert. So what this is going to do is it's going to send me an email either every day, every week, every 2 weeks, or every month. And it's going to show me search results from my search lines that are down here. Okay. So I can get search results delivered, the latest search results delivered to my inbox without having to come back to EBSCOhost. So, for example, I want this email to come every week. I want only search results published in the last 2 months. And I want to run this alert for 1 year. Okay. Choose what format I want the results in. I can do some properties of the email, and then I just pop my email address in here. Choose a subject line, call it EBSCOhost search injury prevention and cold therapy. Okay. And then I can put a title, and then this will show me the email address that it's going to come from. And then I can choose which format, plain text or HTML, and I can save. So now I'm going to receive an email every week with the latest results from this search. So really useful tool, I think. That's using the advanced search page, using some of these limiters, and using the search history. Both, really, really useful tools, I think, in SPORTDiscus. And something else that I always like to show people is the thesaurus. So up here, this is going to show you all of the subject terms from this database. So for example, if I was interested in measuring VO2 performance, so which is like your maximum cardio output, I could look up VO2 and see what subject terms are associated with this. Okay. Now I can see here that VO2 max, which is really what I was looking for, this is not a subject term. So whilst it might be good to use in a search, it can see here that the database is telling me to use aerobic capacity instead. So I'll click on aerobic capacity. I can see it at the top here and related subject terms. But if I click into the subject term, it's going to show me a scope note about what it is, related subject terms, and what it's used for as well. Okay. So I then might want to select this and then click on add, and that is going to then include that as a search. So I might want to do something like this, do sort of DE, search for this subject term or VO2 max as a keyword. So I'm looking for this subject term using the field code, or I'm just going to look for the phrase VO2 max. So the subject term list, if you don't know the subject terms from the database, you can always just come up here to thesaurus, and it's going to give you the subject terms for each database you have selected, which I think is just a really good way to kind of get better search results. So here I can see 12,000 results. And you can see here that all of my results are going to include this subject term, aerobic capacity. So I've been talking for a long time, so I'll just tell you one more thing about the SPORTDiscus, which, you know, sometimes people, I guess, can forget. And that is how to find a list of the publications, the title list in this database. And there's a really easy way to do it. It's here under publications at the top. And to put it really simply, this is just a list of all the journals that we have available. So I could look for a specific phrase. And here it will show me all of my publications, and it will show me two lines, the bibliographic coverage and the full text coverage and the format of the full text. Okay, so there are going to be some, for example, exercise and sports science reviews. This is only going to be bibliographic records, whereas exercise immunology review, this one here, this does have a full text run as well. I can click into any of these. I can browse the issues here on the right to see the latest issues, or I can search for a keyword in this publication, okay, using this button here. So that's our list of publications. So I think that's really the best way to kind of search this database. As I said, you can combine it with other databases if you want to, but if you are using the subject terms or the browsing the publications, these are going to be individual. You can only do it for one database at a time. And I think that's everything I wanted to show you. So what do you think? Do you have any questions? Is anything not clear? Let me know.
Yes, very clear. Thank you.
Great.
You have explained everything very well.
If you need more help or you have more questions, we have a help site called EBSCO Connect. I will put it in the chat for you. Help pages. So here, yeah, you can just come here and look up maybe EBSCOhost, searching, something like that. And this will give you help pages. It will give you tips and tricks. It will give you technical information. It's like a wiki. It's all here in one place. So yeah, thank you for your time. And if you need anything, yeah, please contact us. Thank you very much and have a good afternoon.